Good afternoon. It's a lovely, albeit a little bit blowy day out in the Port River. We're heading out to sea. I was going to go freediving down south today, but I don't know, we realised it was a nice day and we thought it would be quite busy, so we thought we might pick an anchor spot and try and do a bit of freediving from the boat. But on our way out, we've been kept company by some dolphins, and it's always quite difficult to try and video dolphins because by the time you're shooting them, they've moved, and they have this habit of going from one side of the boat, and then I'm videoing, and then they're on the other side. It's like they're playing with me, but it's one of the really wonderful things. In fact, there's one right now beside the boat. See it? Might even come up and say hello, and there he is, there's two of them. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, we are in a dolphin sanctuary. The Port River is a dolphin sanctuary, so it's one of the things I really enjoy doing. Is sometimes you don't even see them, you just hear them come up next to the boat. Anyway, we have the opportunity to tick off a lot of boxes today. I'm in the process of getting my scuba gear serviced, and there are some things I want to do, go out on the boat, some exciting things that I'm looking forward to. And in the process, yeah, I'm servicing different gear, and yesterday I put a new battery in my recreational computer, and the one thing they said don't do, I did. That is the advice from the manufacturer. Don't leave the same O-ring in. Well, I didn't have another one, so I did. It's greased, it feels all right, it looks all right. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to try and do today is test it in freedive mode down to maybe 8, 10, 12 meters. And that depends if we can find a decent anchorage. We're also going to test, if we can, how well our anchor holds outside on the sand with a bit of a breeze. So this is important if you're going to sleep on the boat. And we've got a particular type of anchor which I'll show you in a minute. Oh, dolphin right next to me. And I'm just not sure how well it's going to hold. So, you know, if you're going to test it, you've got to test it when there's a bit of swell and a bit of wind. Of course, it could all be a blowout and we get too much, and then, in which case we might be doing none of the above. So let's just see how we go. Yeah, it's a lovely day. Where would you rather be? As you can see, the wind's dropped right off and we got lovely flat water. So it's not going to be a great test for the anchor, but much nicer for me diving in the water. About 7 meters, a little bit shallower than I would have liked, but this will suffice. I'm weighted correctly for this today if I'm free diving, so that'll be fine. And yeah, just a lovely day. Let me show you what anchor I've got. This is essentially a plow anchor, and as you can probably see, it holds pretty well in silt. It digs right in, but not as good on sand. Yeah, it won't be a problem today, but I am going to need to test this in more windy weather out here with a sandy bottom and see what happens. I've been speaking to a few friends recently who've taken a bit of interest in the vlog videos and also the videos on the main channel. And what I might do is a few videos on content creation. Basic videos. I'm not going to go into huge amounts of depth because they're the things that you as a content creator will want to find yourself. However, those videos will probably be coming up. And I'm not sure in those videos if I'm going to get into specialist videoing like underwater videoing. I may touch on it, I haven't decided yet, but for the purpose of today's video, I thought I might mention something. So I am going to take my older GoPro down underwater with me today. This is a Hero 3 Black. The video that you're seeing me on is a Hero 9 Black. I needed to upgrade because it had some features I really wanted to have. But this thing is bulletproof for ages. It can go down to 60 meters underwater, which is really cool for a camera. If you have a big camera, big housing, it gets very expensive. But one of the things that happens when you're underwater is if you're using the ambient light, the light from the sun, then you don't need to go down very far before the light, the color starts disappearing. So what you end up with lots of greens and darker colors, you know, your grays. You don't need to go far, maybe 10 meters, 15 meters, and it's really not that fantastic. You either need a really good light source, which of course you're going to need if you're diving at night anyway, or between, I find, the 5 to 10 meter mark, there is another little trick you can use, and that is filters. Now, filters have been used for photography and videography forever and a day, but I have two filters I use. This is a red one, and the other one is a magenta one. Oh, that's a red one as well, but there is a magenta one here. Here it is. Okay, so I've got, the reason I've got two red ones is there's a bit of a scratch on one, so we won't use that one today. But basically they fit on the GoPro lens, and they just clip on. All right, and that will put some of the color back in the shot. You can of course do it a little bit in post-production, but I find on my editing programs it gets a bit more grainy, so I like to try and correct what I can with the raw product. But I have found beyond 10 meters you just don't have enough light to get a really good product. So for today, you should be able to see a difference, assuming we have good visibility. A few things to think about. You've got to make sure you put them on in the water and make sure this is flooded, otherwise you'll get bubbles. And you might even see them in one of my earlier videos. I'll let you work out which one that was. And for the first few meters in the water, you're obviously going to get that reddish or that purple tinge. So again, you notice that in a few of the freediving videos I've done. It doesn't overly detract from it, so I don't really worry about it. Today, I'm actually going to do a few dives without. Then I'm going to place that on the camera, and you'll see the color change. We'll go down, and hopefully on the bottom it won't be terrible, and particularly when you look up you actually can get some really good effects. If you look at my video on Rapid Bay, there's a fantastic video looking up with the sun streaming through, and I think that was a magenta filter at 10 meters. So let's see what we can come up with today, just as I say, just to see the difference. There's no reefs down there. The main reason we're going down there is for the computer, which is around here somewhere. Okay, so I better remember to put this into freedive mode before we go anywhere, otherwise it will be stuck in scuba diving mode, and that's not going to be helpful at all this week. There we go. Normal operations, gate operations, freedive operations. Lock that in. Right, no things with big teeth in the water, hopefully. See you in a second. Well, the do-it-yourself battery change worked a treat, no problems, and I suspect that'll be fine for local dives. The filters, you be the judge. Is the red one better? Is the magenta one better? Is it better without either of them? Granted, there is not an awful lot to see down there, but you should be able to tell perhaps different parts of the descent or the ascent, whether I'm looking forward, whether I'm looking backwards, if you think the colour's better. So it's just something to play with. The one thing that I did get out of the dive, which was actually also part of the plan, was to answer the question, will the plough anchor drag if there's a swell and some wind? And the answer is yes. I could see it and I videoed it. Yeah, clearly not the anchor if I was going to be sleeping out here on a sandy bottom and if any kind of wind got up. But there are plenty more to try, and I think I know what I'm going to get next.